Good morning. Good afternoon, good evening. Wow, so wonderful to see everybody. Welcome. Just one moment. I started recording and now I'm going to make Nana the host. Oops. I always think I'll become more like smooth at doing these things. Okay, there we go. Wow, it's wonderful to see your faces after so many months. Can everyone hear me fine? Just give me a thumbs up if you're hearing me perfectly. Okay, wonderful. Susan, so great to see you. I was envisioning everyone's faces. Susan, I was wondering, is Susan coming? And amazing to see you, Katie, and your little baby. Seth, that's a lovely surprise to see you. Good afternoon. I'm adjusting to the fact that because I'm in California, whenever I'm up in the morning, everyone's already halfway through their day or ending their day. I'm going to open my chat here as well so I can see. Dhiren, great to see you. Magdalena, TJ, Isabel, good morning. Okay, I'm just going to say good morning. It's good morning from me. You can have some more morning energy. Sanjeev ji, wonderful to see you. And you have your lamp burning beautifully already in the frame.
Thank you.
Rosie, welcome. Tuning from Germany. Great to see you. Chapu, great to see you again after so long. And Edward in Canada, welcome. Ronnie, Richard, Henry, wonderful to see your face and your beautiful background. I love your nature scene there. Jean and Sydney, welcome. Great to see you, Sydney. We met around this time last year in Dallas. That's right, Dallas, right? Good morning, good morning. Anvesh and Sanjeev, Elke, and everyone else that's going to be joining as this time goes on. Fantastic to see you. Okay, I'm going to close this now. Well, it's been a bit of a journey for me since we last met. I can't remember what month we last had our Patreon Sanga. I think it might have been June or May. And then shortly after that, I was planning to do the Sangas more regularly. And then suddenly we found out that we will be moving across the country. And it was a whole tumble of activity and a real adventure for me and my husband. And now we've been in California for about 2 months. And I'll just show you I don't know if you can see anything outside. You can see a bit of blue sky, some lovely trees. The trees are changing color here, as in much of the northern hemisphere. And we're just appreciating this energy of this season, which allows for a bit more grounding because it's been very hectic for many weeks and months now. And I'm wondering how you're all doing. I know that a lot usually happens in the summer for a lot of people. There can be more movement, there can be more guests, more visitors, more events. And not that things become slower at this time of year. Sometimes they don't slow down at all, especially for any of you that have children. Katie can probably attest to this. Life doesn't really slow down. It just keeps going at a pace. But this time of year does offer us the opportunity to be a little bit more introspective, just as naturally there's a little bit less daylight. I don't think we have anyone joining from a southern hemisphere, although Sanjeevji is in India and it doesn't change so much the light in the seasons as it does in the north. Anvesh, where are you?
Hi, Can you? Yeah, I'm from India, Mumbai, so it's quite hot here.
Oh, it's very hot. Yeah, okay. So you're not having this chilly weather that so many of us are experiencing.
Yeah, but
Great.
I've been to London, so I've been to Germany, so I know what you mean by
You know what
chilly.
it's like.
So,
Wonderful. Well, today we're meeting to begin our regular sanghas again, our monthly sanghas, and also it is a special day today in the Bhakti calendar. It's the day of Diwali or Deepavali, and many of you may already celebrate this or have different ways of celebrating it. It has different layers of meaning and significance within different sort of, you could say, pathways and streams of religious practice or spiritual practice. It's significant within the Sikh tradition. It's significant for those who follow the Hindu path or Sanatan Dharma in different ways, according to the Ishtadeva that they worship or their family traditions. And for those who worship Sri Krishna, who are Vaishnavas, it also has a beautiful significance as just one of the many days in this month of Kartik. Give me a little wave if you already know about the month of Kartik and if you have any kind of observance of it. Okay, wonderful. I think many of you do. So it's one of the days in the month of Kartik, but it has special significance in a story of Sri Krishna when he was manifested as a young child. And we can get into that later because I thought it'd be nice to sing the song together that we sing every day of the Kartik month. And that story is said to have also happened on this day, on the Diwali day. So it's especially poignant to sing the song on this day. And the month of Kartik actually for worshippers of Krishna has many, many festivals. It's sort of jam-packed. So when I said about slowing down at this time of year, I guess I'll take that back. It doesn't really slow down. There's like a point after the month of Kartik that at least, for Krishna Bhaktas, you kind of feel like, okay, the year of festivals is coming to a close because at least if you live near or connected to a temple, if they observe these festivals in a traditional way, there's quite a lot of energy and seva and programs that happen throughout the year. And this is the first time in my life in the last few years that I have lived a little bit away from a community, whereas in England I used to live as a part of the Bhaktivedanta Manor community, and there was just always something happening every weekend, or there's always festivities, and those festivals in the calendar that do arise, they're always celebrated in quite a big way. So it's wonderful too, because there's always a way to be involved. There's always something that one can do to absorb the mind and consciousness. Well, I've just remembered something. Because we are recording, I'm going to pin myself just for people who watch it back later. I realize that it's a little bit more comfortable to watch it like that. So I can now, I'm seeing 5 faces on my top bar, and I'll switch it time to time so I can see others. But Susan, I'm looking at your lovely face, and Sanjeevji and Anvesh and Vanita, I can see you there too. Okay, so we have, as always, a relatively short time together. And so I want to make sure to try to use it in the best way. And I think it would be nice to begin with some chanting together, some singing together as we normally do. Let's see. Yeah, I got my harmonium here on a chair. I'm still figuring out my best place in our new house to do live stream. This is the first Zoom call I've ever done in my new home. That's something to be said. So I haven't quite got my setup all figured out yet, but my harmonium is here on a chair next to me. So let's turn this original sound on. You can hear the harmonium. let's close our eyes, gently closed, and sit up as straight as is comfortable, and just feel that grounding, whether your feet are touching the floor or you're sitting on a chair, sitting on the couch. Let's sing together Om. Reciting the prayer to our gurus and teachers who themselves are like a lamp that lights up the darkness and bring wisdom and illumination into our life. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Let's do Om one more time together. Thank you all for. Oh, Anvesh, could you make sure to mute yourself, just because I think we're hearing sound from your from outside Mumbai. Thanks for joining in that invocation. It's really, I just said it before we recited that prayer, but this symbolism of the light in the darkness, it can connect to so many different ideas. And it's something that on a very basic kind of sensory level, it's really easy to grasp, because we all know what it's like to, go into a dark room and turn the light on and oh, now I can see things, or even, oh, now I don't feel scared. That's me. Last night, my husband went out, and I've never felt scared in this house, but sometimes a thought just enters your mind, and then alarmingly it starts to grow a little bit, and you're like, wait, which light can I turn on so I don't feel scared? By the way, in those situations, if I ever feel really scared, there are certain recordings that I will play on my phone that help me feel calm because I've traveled a lot over the last, decade of my life, and I've slept in a lot of unfamiliar places. And sometimes people will say, "Oh, it'll be really quiet for you here," and I'm like, "Oh, that's great." And then at one point, I start feeling a little scared. So I can share some of those recordings with you if anyone would find that helpful. One of them is called the Narayan Kavacha, which comes from the Srimad Bhagavatam. And there's a really beautiful recording of it that I had found and had been listening to for many years now. So I'll share that with you. But yes, today is Diwali, and we in the tradition or the lineage that I was raised in of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, we especially focus on the activities of the Supreme Lord, who we revere as Krishna, or in his avatar of Sri Ramachandra, on this day. And it's for me, the activities, the pastimes of Sri Ram were the focus of our celebration of Diwali. I think it wasn't until I was an adult that I found out that for many Hindus, Diwali is a festival that's celebrated primarily at home. And, it's really about coming together with family and friends. And there's a lot of focus on, cooking, lots of sweets and special preparations. Because my experience of Diwali was so different from that. For us, the temple was really like our home because we were there every single day, and it was only 10 minutes, 15 minutes walk from where I lived. And we in our main shrine on the altar, we have Radha Krishna. They're called Radha Gokulananda. And then on the other half of the altar, we have Shri Sita, Ram, Lakshman, and Hanuman. And so I grew up with them always being there on the altar. And so on these days where the pastimes of Sri Ram are remembered and celebrated, it was an extra special celebration because they were there on our altar. So the way that our Diwali would go would be to go to the temple, and the highlight was in the evening when it was dark, it was cold in England, and October, November, and we would go out to the field, and everybody would be all bundled up, and there would always be a drama be performed of the Ramayana, or maybe a portion of the Ramayana. And I think I've played almost every character in that drama. I've never played Ram or Lakshman, but I've played a maid servant. I've played a monkey. I've played Jatayu, who's the vulture that tries to save Sita. I've played Sita Devi. And it's an amazing way to get immersed in those stories, which are so magnificent and captivating to the heart. So at one point in the evening, this drama would be performed, and lots of people would be gathered, and then everyone would proceed to the field, and they would have this gigantic firework display while kirtan was playing, honoring Sri Ram. So that was a real more than just lamps, these lights exploding in the sky. That's my memory, my kind of heart memory of Diwali for so many years. So it's a special and beautiful time, especially because like all festive times, I always noticed in England, because it's a predominantly Christian country, although you could say it's probably just more secular or agnostic these days for most people. But Christmas time is still, it's a very important time. And it's beautiful to see how people's hearts are a little softer, a little more open in that time, because we're celebrating something. Our sense of goodwill can extend beyond just sort of I, me, mine, or exactly who lives in my home, and go out farther. And of course, that's always needed, but sometimes these festive days allow a little opening for that to happen a little bit more easily. So it's beautiful time to remember the arrival home of Sri Ramachandra after 14 years of exile. I don't know if all of you know the story of the Ramayana, but it's very, very worth diving into it in whatever way you can. There's a really cool animated version of the Ramayana it was produced in Japan actually in the early 90s. And my brother just reminded me of it. I grew up watching it, but it's just been remastered and re-released in 4K or something. And my brother went to a movie theater or cinema to see it in London. So that's a cool one. Maybe I'll share that for you in our Patreon group. But Ramachandra had been exiled, as the story goes, for 14 years. And so much had happened during that time. Sita Devi had been kidnapped, his wife, who was manifestation of goddess Lakshmi herself. She had been kidnapped and taken away to the land of Ravana, where Ravana, who was a great king, who was also an asura, which means he was more focused on his own power and being the supreme and the controller of everything. Then he was a tyrant in that sense, and we can see examples of that throughout history, including till today. Ravana wanted to enjoy Sita for his own pleasure, and so he brought her to his kingdom of Lanka, and there Sita was deposited in the gardens, the beautiful palace gardens, and she was tormented by there was women who were kind of overseeing these gardens and were tormenting her every day that if you don't accept the advances of Ravana, who is our master, at some point he'll lose his patience with you and he'll just cut you up and eat you. Imagine that. It's not funny. I mean, it's horrible, but it's sometimes the way it's depicted in dramas can be kind of they try to bring out the humor of it. So Ram's dear ally Hanuman, who was part of a special race called the Vanaras, who are half human, half man, and half monkey. They have the face of a monkey. He jumped across the ocean from India, from Rameshwaram to Lanka, to try to find Sita and try to bring her home. And there's a really beautiful, in this drama that we used to perform at the temple, they had this recorded soundtrack, and it was a musical, so there were songs. And there's this point where Hanuman, he creeps up and he's passed so many obstacles to get into the city of Lanka, so many barriers that come up in front of him. And finally he makes himself very, very small so that he can get in. And he gets into this garden and he says, "Ah, there's Sita," and he climbs into the tree and he's just observing her to make sure that, is this really her? Because he didn't think he would be able to find her. And Sita is crying and she's singing a song. And this song, I love the song. It was written especially by some devotee composers at the time. And it's in English, and Sita's saying, "My broken heart weeps day and night, flooding my mind with thoughts of you. I feel yourself before my sight. Give me hope of life renewed. Will you come to allay my fear? Free me from my sea of sorrow. All for you I've lived these years. For you, my love, I live tomorrow. And I'm missing you, my Lord." So she sings like that. "I'm missing you, my Lord." And Hanuman's just crying and crying, just hearing this heartrending song that Sita Devi is singing, that he almost forgets why he came to bring her back. So to cut a long story short, he doesn't manage to bring her back at that point because a whole battle has to happen between Ram and Ravana, involving Ravana's army, Ravana's brother, who is gigantic, called Kumbhakarna, Ravana's other brother called Indrajit, who is, who performs mystical spells within that battle to create illusory effect on the other side. And Ram is accompanied by all the race of Vanaras, these half monkey, half men, who they become like this motley army to overcome Ravana, and they manage to do it. It's a long passage explaining how that battle goes. But the day of Diwali, it's said that after that battle had been fought and a few other things had happened, finally, after all this time, Ram, his consort Sita, Lakshman, and along with Hanuman, who didn't want to leave Ram's side. He was so attached to Ram that he wanted to come as well. It's said that they flew on an airplane. Sometimes it said it was made of flowers. So these vimanas, they are mystical airplanes because they were said to rise in the sky and fly by the power of mantra. And it's not that hard to believe because we see how we can fly using things that are a lot less subtle than the power of sound, by engineering, by physics. These 747s can rise in the sky. I think I found a picture for you that I was going to share. Let me see if I can pull it up here. I was looking at some beautiful pictures. Oh yeah, here's a nice one. Let me share my screen. Can I share my screen? Oh, I think, Nana, you might have to make me yeah, thank you. I'm lost now how to share my screen. I'm sorry. Oh, here, it's right here. It's a big green button. Okay. Here's one of the images that I had found of them flying through the sky. Here's Ram and Lakshman, Hanuman, and it looks like somebody else has also come, maybe Angad. And there was a couple of others I was going to show you also. Here's the next one. Oh, this is okay, this is not the right one. This is Ram after the battle had been fought. I think you can see the armies there in the background. And one of my favorite characters in the Ramayana down here, Jambavan, he's said to be bear-like. And let's see, I think there was another image I was going to share with you. It's like a slideshow. Oh yeah, this is a really beautiful one. So I hope you can see it. So here's, there's like a big procession and everyone's waiting to receive them. You can see lots of elephants. Oh, actually, I see here, I hadn't noticed this, but how these paintings were often painted was to show you almost like a comic showing you like panels of what's happening. So this is a traditional painting. Usually these were done at the foothills of the Himalayas or in Rajasthan. Here's Ram in the center here on the horses. I guess they must have already got down from their flower airplane, and Sita Devi. And then here they are coming inside. These ladies are all waiting to receive them, and here they are coming inside the palace and being received with so much love. I think these must be the queens of King Dasharat, who Ram's father, well, the father of Ram and Lakshman, the king, he had left his body, he had left this world. He died right after Ram had left because his heart was so broken with, complete despair that Ram had left his sight. And so when they returned to the queens dressed in a very plain way. They didn't want to ornament themselves until Ram would return. So it's a very, very beautiful time. And it's said that the whole city of Ayodhya was lit up with lamps on every rooftop. They were thinking, well, this is how the story goes, that they said, well, they'll be coming back, and they need to be able to see where we are, that we're here and that we're welcoming them with love. So because it was a very dark night, they put these lamps along the top of all the rooftops and in all the windows, and so that from the sky, Ram and Sita, Lakshman could look down and know, there's our home, and this is where love is burning, awaiting us. So, like I said, people light lamps on this night for different reasons with different significance, but this is one of the most common and much loved associations with Diwali, this story of Ramachandra. And maybe we can chant a little Ram Kirtan now, just remembering this beautiful story. And then after that, I would love to sing our Kartik song together. So maybe I'll stop sharing my screen. How do I stop sharing? Oh, there. Just getting used to Zoom again after a long time. Sitaram, Sitaram, Jai Jai Ram. Sing together. Ram, Sitaram, Sitaram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 All together. Ram, Sitaram, Sitaram, Jai Jai Ram. Together. Ram, Sitaram, Sitaram, Jai Jai Ram. Sitaram, Sitaram, Jai Jai Ram. Ram, Sitaram, Sitaram, Jai Jai Ram. Ram, Sitaram, Sitaram, Jai Jai Ram. Thank you for joining. we could sing for a long time like that. My brother was singing that same chant on Friday night. My family did a beautiful event together in London called Mantra Lounge. If you're ever in London, it's every Friday night. Um, well, I don't want to run out of time to sing our Kartik song. So I have here someone is here. Here's little baby Krishna. He looks like he's a little underdressed for the weather right now, but he has a something to wrap around if he feels cold. And Susan, this was a gift from Rukmini for our wedding. When my husband and I got married no, it wasn't last year. Now it's 2 years. No, almost a year and a half. This was a gift for our wedding. So we've been worshiping him during this time. He's very, very cute. If you can see his face. And so I brought him here so I can offer a lamp. Let's see if I can, just in case you don't have a picture, we could offer a lamp to him. And maybe we can do that first and then sing the song. So for those of you that need the words on the screen, I can put those up as well, and then we can sing the song together. Oh, okay. A cloth has appeared. I'm not sure. Yeah. There. Okay, so I'll get my tanpura. Does everyone have, if you don't have a lamp, that's fine. I know some of you were prepared. Oh, thank you, Chapu. Thank you for putting that there. I also had another, just in case it's easier to read, I had another link for that. Oh, anyway, you've put it there, so that's great. I'm gonna get the sorry. Our tabla has to be set for the right tal, which is going to be six. Sorry, I'm having some technical issues with my... Let's turn this off. Okay, so if you have your lamp, I've got mine here, and I'm going to light my lamp. And when we offer the lamp, the traditional way of offering it is to offer first to the feet, and then to the waist, then to the face, and then all around the body. And there's a certain number of circles that are traditionally done. We don't have to do that now, but it's a beautiful way of meditating on the form of the divine by going from the feet. That's considered to be, the place to express our humility, and going upwards. So you don't sort of look at everything at once. And the last verse of the prayer speaks about this. I'm going to open the link that Chapu sent. The last verse of the prayer says that I offer my obeisance to the rope that binds your belly. Or maybe maybe it doesn't say that exactly, but that's what I always think of, because it speaks about the rope that binds the belly. So in a way, in the prayer, even we're referencing this place. It's very significant in this story, in this pastime, because this is the place that Krishna was bound up by his mother as a way of disciplining him, because he was being very naughty. But she was trying and trying to tie the rope, and every time she tried, it was always just 2 fingers too short. And she was getting very flustered and frustrated, and Krishna was crying. And as most children would if you're trying to discipline them. And then she was adding more and more rope, and every time again she did it, it was just a little bit too short. So then finally he saw that her desire to discipline him, as with most parents, you're not disciplining your child because you're trying to be mean to them. You're doing it because you love them, because you want the best for them. And so he was recognizing the pure love coming from her heart, and allowed the rope to be tied to show that the Supreme Lord, to show that one which we know as Krishna, or know by many divine names, can only be accessed through pure love. Anything else, according to the Bhakti tradition, it's not really going to cut it, because it's not the main thing. So if it's just about, performing austerity, or, I fast on these days, or I do everything correctly, it's not just about doing everything correctly. It's about awakening that pure love within our heart and offering it. So the lamp signifies the love that's coming from our heart, and hence we offer it in this way. Okay, so we're ready. We can offer our lamp. If you want to pull up the words for the prayer, we can sing the prayer together. Maybe this flame will also keep him warm. श्वासकं पात्रिरेकङ्ककन्ता स्थितग्रैवं दामोदरं भक्तिपदम् इति दृक्स्वलीलाभिरनन्दकुन्दे स्वघोषं निमज्जन्तमख्यापयन्तम् तद्येषितागेषु भक्तजितार्थम् पुनः प्रेमतस्तं शतवृत्तिवन्दे वरं देवमोक्षं न मोक्षवदिन्वा न चान्यं विनेहं वरेषदपीह इदं ते वपुनाथ गोपालबालम् सदा मे मनसा विरस्तं किमन्ये इदं ते मुखं भोजमत्यन्तलीले वृत्तं कुन्तलैः स्निग्धरक्तैश्च गोप्या मुहुश्चुम्बितं बिम्बरक्तधरं मे मनस्य विरस्तमलमक्षलभ्रे नमो देव दामोदर विष्णु प्रसीद प्रभो दुःख जलधिमग्नं. Let's sing that together again. Namo Deva Damodar Vishnu Prasida Prabhu Dukha Jaladhimagam Kripadrishti Vrishtati Dinam Batanu Grihane Shamama Gyane Dyakshitrisha Kuberatmajo Bata Murtyaiva Yadvat Tvaya Mochito Bhakti Vajo Krito Cha Tata Prema Bhakti Swakam Me Prayacha Namokshe Graha Me Stidamodare Namaste Studamne Spura Diptidane Tvadiyodarayata Vishwasadane Namaste Studamne Spura Diptidane Tvadiyodarayata Vishwasadane Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tobham 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you for joining that prayer with me. I realized that because I pinned my video, let's see if I can still see you all. I wasn't able to see everyone's lamps, but it was anyway, not for me. It was for Krishna and for you. I hope that some of you were able to join in with offering a lamp. It's beautiful to share this space with you and return to this experience of a virtual Sangha, because it's amazing how real a Sangha can be by whichever way that we manage to make that connection, whether virtually or face-to-face or on the phone. I'm trying to be more timely in my life, and also that includes ending things on time. So if we're going to end on time, there's only a few minutes left. But I wanted to just share a verse that was, I was searching the verses that I have saved for the word illuminate, because there was an idea that I was thinking of, and I knew that I had saved things in that along those lines. And I found a beautiful verse that I had saved a long time ago, which I remember I was trying to learn because it comes from the prayers of Gajendra. Some of you might have heard the song that I recorded with Willow, that's called Gajendra, which is about that story. And actually the lyrics that are in that song are sort of, they're derived from these prayers of Gajendra, which go on for a very long time. It's called Gajendra Stuti. But this prayer says, Nama Atma Pradipaya Sakshine Paramatmane Namo Giram Viduraya Manasashchetasamapi. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the self-effulgent Supersoul, who is the witness in everyone's heart, who enlightens the individual soul, and who cannot be reached by exercises of the mind, words, or consciousness. I love that part. Who cannot be reached by exercises of the mind, words, or consciousness. It's like the echo to the core of the prayer that we just sung. How can that Supreme be reached? By pure love, by infusing everything that we do with love. So I'll read you the very short purport by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. He says, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, cannot be understood by the individual soul through mental, physical, or intellectual exercises. It is by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that the individual soul is enlightened. And this is the part that I put in bold, and I'll put it here in the chat, actually. That's nice. find everyone. It's making me send as a private message. Meeting group chat, there we go. Therefore, the Lord is described here as Atma Pradipa. Deepa is the word for light, like Deepavali, which became shortened to Diwali. The Lord is like the sun, which illuminates everything and cannot be illuminated by anyone. Wow, that's interesting. Cannot be illuminated by anyone. That means even by no one's explanation. It's not by the person who's explaining. It's by the grace of the Lord to make himself known. Therefore, if one is serious about understanding the Supreme, one must receive enlightenment from him as instructed in the Bhagavad Gita. One cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by one's mental, physical, or intellectual powers. Humbling. So what we want to cultivate, rather than perfect amount of knowledge or ability to perform all kinds of different activities, is that love within our hearts that we offer, we can offer in the simplest of ways, and there's purity in the simplest of ways. One of my favorite stories is the story of Sudama. Probably not time to tell it all now. Maybe for our next Sangha we can talk about the story of Sudama, because I just love this story so much. It's so beautiful, but the core of it is that Sudama, he brings an offering to his old friend Krishna, who he knew in childhood, and he's so embarrassed to bring it because he really doesn't have very much. It's just this kind of rice that's been flattened. It's called poha, or chipped rice, and he kind of hides it under his armpit, or he tucks it in his waistband, because he's shy to show it, because he comes to see Krishna in his kingdom of Dwarka, and he feels like, oh, this is, imagine if you went to see a king or a queen and you bring them, like some Cheerios or something. Like, why should I know, in a little, wrapped up in a little cloth, you'd be like, why are they gonna like this? But because Sudama's heart, Krishna's and a name for Krishna is Bhava Grahi Janardana. He's looking for the bhava. He's grahi. He's like seeking out that. So whatever we are offering, to whatever degree we're imbuing that with love, that's actually what's being received. That's what he's tasting. That's what he's eagerly, looking for. And so Krishna is immensely delighted with this chipped rice, and he starts eating it, and every single grain he eats, he's like, Anyway, I want to tell the story properly because it's such a beautiful one. But I pray that on this day of Diwali, I'm praying for all of us that we can find a way to keep stepping gradually towards refining and purifying that ability to share the love that's in our hearts. We all have it there, but sometimes there's a bit of blockages, a blockage in the pipes. For whatever reason, we share it, selectively, or we share it minimally in some contexts. I know for myself, like one example of a daily practice of offering love is that in the Bhakti tradition, whatever we eat, before we eat it, while we were preparing it, while we're cooking, we're thinking that this is an offering for my Lord, and I'll offer it first on a beautiful plate, and then afterwards I'll receive it. And there's an opportunity there in that practice to experience the cultivation of pure love, and receiving of that prasad afterwards is, receiving that love back. But because of being a human being and, just our flaws, many times that can just become like a routine activity. Okay, just cook, put it on the plate, put it in front of the picture, say some prayers, ring a bell, then, okay, it's done, let's eat, and of course, there's nothing, it's not wrong in the sense that this is how many of us, most of us experience life. We don't do everything perfectly all the time, but we're trying, we're making some endeavor, some small way in our day to cultivate that love. And I pray that we are all able to do that. Part of this Sangha is, part of the purpose of this Sangha is to encourage each other. So maybe we can put our hands together and so we can all see each other, making a prayer on each other's behalf, and pray that we can all become ambassadors for that love in this world, in whatever way that may be, whether within our families, within our groups of friends, our community, maybe wider than that. Maybe we are able to perform activities, actions that impact positively the life of someone else or many people in other parts of the world. And in fact, one of the ways that we can do that even is by simply offering prayer. There are so many people in the world in different places suffering at this time, on this day. So let's say a prayer for each other and a prayer of offering our love. We offered our love in our prayer, so let's say a prayer for each other. And we can recite the Maha Mantra 3 times together, just making that prayer. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you all so much. It's really lovely, again, to be with you, to see you all. And we will now be recommencing these sanghas once a month. And I will also try to, I really would like to do another offering as part of the Patreon. I'm trying to be realistic about setting things up so that we can just keep it consistent and regular. But for now, for sure, we will be doing once a month, and 10th of December will be the next monthly meeting. So you can put that in your diary. I don't want to take up any more of your time, but I'm grateful for your presence here. And I hope that some of you have had the chance to listen to the Into the Forest recording that came out more than a week ago now. I've really been appreciating everyone's messages and feedback on it. Thank you again. And if you want to unmute, or can you unmute?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I thought I had to do something. Thank you all so much.
How can I share a song or a poem that I've written recently? I'd love to share it with you. How can I do that?
Yeah, there's an inbox on the, there's a private message function on the Patreon, so you could send it there to the inbox.
Great. Will do. Great. Lots of love. Love you. Love your devotion. Love your singing. Love your music.
Thank
And
you.
just wonderful to be in your space.
Thank
In
you
this
so much.
space.
In this space, yes,
This
absolutely.
space.
Thank you so much for joining. We have 2 Sanjeevs in our group.
May I have a word? Just thank you so much for making such a lovely music. First time I am watching your Zoom call, so this is first time, and I speak Marathi, which is I think and Sanskrit and Hindi. And I remember I came from London from ISKCON room, and I was putting your song, the Vittal song, and I remember mom was so glad to hear because she was expecting Hare Krishna and all that thing, but suddenly singing Brukshavalli Amma Soyer, which is very close to us because
Yes.
Maharaj is our beloved saint, and that song played for 8 hours and she was sleeping all the time, and
Oh, wow.
so you're well loved in my family, and
Ah,
very thankful for that, and please making such good music, and I hope
thank you.
God bless you with whatever you you need. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I'm still hoping to come visit some of those sacred pilgrimage places in Maharashtra. I've never been before, so my husband and I are hoping. And yeah, I actually just on the topic of India, I know many people have asked me over the years if I will ever do like lead a pilgrimage group, and I've assisted on many things like that with my father, with many different people, but I've never taken my own group. But maybe we can all stay in touch in our Patreon Sangha if that's something people would be interested in.
Yes,
Not
please.
sure when it would happen, but maybe in the coming year.
Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm in India. I'm in Mumbai, Maharashtra. I'm there to
Wonderful.
support you 100%.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful afternoon or evening, wherever you are. And thanks to Naina for co-hosting and helping make this happen as many things. She's also behind the newsletters. And I think Naina is also going to be helping a little bit more on the Patreon group, just to make sure that we kind of keep the wheels turning in terms of people are messaging, things like that. Sometimes I'm all the time a human being, and I don't always manage to get back to everyone. And so thanks so much, Naina, and wishing you all a very happy Diwali. Thank you once again.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Krishna.
Happy Diwali.
Hare Krishna.